Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. First of all, I want to introduce myself first. My name is Amar Muiz bin Mustafa, and today I would like to share my presentation about persistent stress among Melaka athletes during COVID-19. Coronavirus disease 2019 is a highly contagious and fatal respiratory epidemic that is causing chaos in many parts of life, including sports in particular. Following the advice of health officials, various national and international athletic events, including the 2020 Olympics, have been postponed or cancelled in an effort to prevent the virus from spreading among spectators. While some concern about the coronavirus is to be expected, significant level of anxiety or stress can have a negative impact on daily living. During the pandemic, sports psychologists report an increase in demand for online psychological counseling and diagnosis of psychological disorder among these athletes, including fear of infection, anxiety about physical recovery in fact, lack of access to fitness centers, disturbed sleep, eating disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and family conflict. The problem statement for the research is to examine the changes in the training patterns and practice of the athletes before and during movement control associated with the pandemic outbreak. The finding of the study revealed that 53% of athletes experienced a decrease in motivation to exercise, and some were exacerbated by the lack of competitive sports competition during the pandemic period. I got two for the objective, which is I want to identify the level of perceived stress among Melaka athletes during COVID-19 and to investigate level of perceived stress among athletes in Melaka based on gender during COVID-19. Significantly, these studies focuses on level of perceived stress among athletes Melaka during COVID-19. This study will perhaps help the governments, especially sports sector and sports school that train athletes for national and international players, improve their skill to handle the similar issues when it happen in future. Also giving the authorities formulate suitable strategies for the potential pilgrims to prepare in perceiving stress which affect the potential athletes Melaka during COVID-19. Next is Chapter 2, which is literature review. Firstly, stress is defined as an adaptive psychophysical reaction to a physical, social, or psychological stimulus called a stressor. Stress-related responses may be cognitive, emotional, behavioral, or psychological, depending on the type, timing, and severity of exposure to a stressor. The resulting stress may become a risk factor for a number of illnesses, including those of a psychiatric or cardiovascular nature. Then, the perceived stress scale is the most often used psychological tool for assessing stress perception. It is a measure of how stressful things in one's life are perceived to be. The developer of this scale create a set of questions to determine a person's stress level during the past month. Based on the scores of the scale, a person can be said to have low perceived stress, moderate perceived stress, or high perceived stress. For the conceptual framework, demographic data is the IV for the research, which include the gender, age, and the highest achievement, and the DV is level of perceived stress scale. Chapter 3 of this research is methodology. So in this research, I use the quantitative design. I use this design to implement a self-administered online survey and no physical contact with the respondent. The target population for this sampling is athletes who have represent the state of Malacca. The inclusion of sampling are athletes under 21 who registered by MSM Malacca. For exclusion in sampling, all athletes under 12, under 15, under 18 and staff of Majlis Sukan Negeri Malacca, and number of sampling is 60 respondents. In sampling technique, probability and simple random technique apply because these methods mainly used in quantitative research, which is relates to the study objective, meaning that whoever athlete that's available in which means that anyone under 21 athletes registered in MSN will have the opportunity to be a respondent in this study. To ensure the sample is random, questionnaire in the form of Google Forms will be distributed via email, WhatsApp, Telegram or other connected social media. In instrumentation, it divided by two sections, which is Section A and Section B. In Section A, it will represent for demographic data including 4 items, which is gender, age, race and highest achievement. In Section B, it represents the perceived stress scale that have 10 items of questionnaire. The questionnaire adopted and adapted by Cohen in 1988. It used 5 Likert scale. In pilot study, the table shows that Cronbach alpha is higher than 0.5, and that means I can continue to collect the actual data from athlete Malacca under 21. For the data collection, it was going through step by step. The first one is getting approval by ethics committee. Next, seek approval from head of organization, which is MSM Malacca, and brief the respondent about the purpose of the study. Then distribute the questionnaire to all respondents, and the last one, collect the questionnaire after they have finished the answer. Now we moving on in chapter 4, which is the result of the data. The data analysis for this chapter use descriptive analysis and main witness test. As you can see, the table shows that the research objective number 1, which is to identify the level of perceived stress among Malacca athletes during COVID-19, is using the descriptive analysis in statistical analysis. The second objective, which is to investigate level of perceived stress among athlete Malacca based on gender during COVID-19, use main witness test, is in statistical analysis. In demographic profile, shows that the gender for male and female has been collected. The total frequency for each gender is 30 respondents. The result for objective 1 shows the level of perceived stress, which is low perceived stress, moderate perceived stress, and high perceived stress. The result for objective 2 shows perceived stress by group of gender, total respondent for each gender, the mean rank, U, Z, and significant value or P value. And the last one is discussion for chapter 5. On demographic profile, it shows that the study involved 30 male and 30 female has been participate in this study. Next, the level of perceived stress. In 60 respondents, there is only 3 has been categorized in low perceived stress. Moderate perceived stress show the highest respondent has been categorized, which is 53 respondents, and 4 respondents has been categorized in high perceived stress. For level of perceived stress between genders, the study observed through a self-reported study by the sample includes perceived stress by 2 genders. It shows insignificant difference, which is 0.825 higher than 0.025. So failed to reject null hypothesis between level of perceived stress for both gender, male and female. At 5% level significant, we conclude that there is no significant difference between perceived stress among athlete Melaka based on gender. That's all from me. Thank you.